Do you know what does roll off the tongue, though? This intro. Hello, I'm on for the Mackem. And today we are getting a little bit of build-up. We're going to chat about Sunderland versus Coventry, or Coventry versus Sunderland, because we're away from home. You can see in the top corner who is on the call. If they want to be on webcam, they can be on webcam. So first, the only one on webcam so far, Cabby. Welcome along.
Hello.
Hello. We also have Mr. Dov with the Pikachu icon.
Howdy doodly.
Howdy doodly. In the bottom left is Paul from RWA.
Hello.
The voice crack there, mate. Love it. And in the bottom right is Yorkshire Mackem, aka Jacob.
Good evening, my beautiful Mackem brothers and sisters.
Love to hear it. So, whilst we're live, we are in the 67th minute of the Hull versus Bristol City game as well. So, Mr. Dov has kindly said he will keep an eye on that game plus the Chelsea-Luton game. So if you hear any wild screams halfway through, it's because one of those four teams have scored and it's probably a worldie. But yeah, we've got a couple of things we can discuss. Should we do the positive stuff first? So obviously last weekend we beat Rotherham at the Stadium of Light, fixing our home record to a, let's face it, a weak opposition in Rotherham, but getting 3 points and scoring goals without that dedicated striker still. So we're still creating chances, we're still getting goals, but we still need that little bit of extra oomph to cement this momentum and the strength in the middle of the park to get more goals. So, rather than just go through the action points of the game, what are your thoughts, boys?
Relieved to get a win, finally. I know it's only 2 games, and it was 2 games before Rotherham, but it was just better off to get it earlier than later on.
Mm-hmm.
Start a boost then, can boost confidence in our team. So, yeah, it was, and we should be beating Rotherham anyway. Really.
So on that point, mate, were you surprised when we went a goal behind?
Not really.
Why? We had the most of the ball. It was just one of those. I wouldn't say if it was fluky. That was a little bit more purposeful. It landed nicely to him in the box, and he slammed it past Pato. So the shot and the goal itself was absolutely well taken. But to get it to that player,
here we go again. When that Rotherham scored, I thought, is this going to be our 3rd loss of the season?
On the bounce, where we're the better team, it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well,
but then 2 minutes later, it shows the Sunderland team probably went, no, fuck this ain't going to happen, and then just scored, didn't they? So
yeah,
that didn't happen, unfortunately. It didn't happen with Preston and Ipswich, unfortunately, but
yeah. I'll bring this up now before I forget. I think with Joe Bellingham getting both of his goals, it was purely about having the right person in the right place at the right time. If he was a couple of yards to the left or right, Bradley Stack heel back to him wouldn't have went in the back of the net. He would have had to compose himself, and the shot would have been blocked. And same again for the first goal, the leveler, Dan Neal's cushion back into the middle of the box on that 6-yard line. Bellingham just had a nous to be there. So there's something to be said about the quality of Joe Bellingham in that moment, but also if we have somebody that's dedicated in that position, i.e. Ross Stewart, who hovered around that penalty spot when he was fit, that's what we need, that's what we're missing, and I don't understand why we're not playing Hamir, because that's essentially what he does. So before we talk about signings, transfers, all of the gaps, Paul, what were your thoughts on the Rotherham game?
To be honest, I was a bit disappointed with the performance. I was happy that we won, but I actually was disappointed with the performance.
Okay, so who was underperforming for you?
I'm not sure, but with the performance, I wasn't actually happy with.
But you're saying you're not happy with the performance. There was obviously Joe Bellingham, who was class, but who wasn't putting in the good shift, in your opinion, then?
I don't know, really.
What about the performance didn't you like? There must be something.
I actually thought we would have kept a clean sheet.
Defensively, okay, got ya. Agreed. Yeah. A little bit of fortune as well, but is that something we can iron out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it is.
Improve
'Cause,
on it.
around me, actually, there was a lot of people actually sitting for Danny Bath to come on.
Oh no. There's obviously rumours at the time that Danny Bath was moving on to Blackburn Rovers. Right.
Now he's staying.
No, he's staying, yeah. Well, we've got another 6 days before the transfer window shuts, but for the moment, he's still a Sunderland player and he is still training with the squad. So maybe he does get a start tomorrow. We never know. Well, we never know.
Though, the day before he was rumoured to go to Blackburn, Danny Bath did not train with the football club.
So now he's taking that. Now he's training with the club again. That's a positive sign. He's going to be sticking around for at least another couple of months before the January window comes up.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, cool. And Cabby, and see you got a nice new Sunderland flag in there. So let me just make you massive so we can see that in full glory. There we go. What's your thoughts on the Rotherham game?
Yeah, as Paul touched on before, it's frustrating that the fact like we keep letting bloody goals in. But to give Rotherham the credit, it was a quality goal, the build-up especially. We're still missing that something going up front. We still don't look massively dangerous when we're on the attack. There's still a couple of missing links there, but overall, they came from behind and they won and they got the 3 points. And you got to beat what's in front of you, and the lads did a good job doing that, to be quite honest with you. And I thought, second half especially, I thought like we dominated the game, and there was no way back really for Rotherham. So I've got to say, well done to the lads. They've come back from behind, and they got the 3 points. And it could start. Who knows? A massive improvement of our form the way we've started.
So you think it could be the catalyst for our season starting to pick up more points and get...
It could, yeah. It's just a shame we've got bloody Coventry tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, Coventry haven't had a great start, considering they were in a very similar boat to us towards the end of last season. Yeah, they've absolutely smashed Middlesbrough, but they've drew and lost their other games, right? They're not running away with it.
Drew with Swansea, shouldn't they? They drew with Swansea, didn't they? And they should have been really winning that. But they didn't. So that shows that if Swansea can get a point, then surely we can.
Yeah, it's just you've got to play the team that's in front of you, and I think we've got a better momentum than Coventry have right now. Granted, Coventry do have, I think, a little bit more quality in their current squad, especially attacking wise. We know a lot about their current new striker, but they've spent combined 7 million and 9 million. So that's, sorry, quick math, 16 million on strikers, and we've spent nothing. We've spent wages on Hamir, and that's it. That's all we've got up front. So we've got to assess where we're going with our signings and come up with more. How do I put it? Like realistic expectations on what we can achieve with this squad. I think last year was a bit of a fluke in terms of like the quality that we had our squad versus where it would naturally finish in the championship. I think that Tony Mobrway effect, that momentum, that coaching will naturally make everybody in our team that bit better season on season. But we're not matching the quality of players that are in the club overall versus the teams that are in that top 6 fight. The likes of Leicester, Leeds, Southampton that have come down, the likes of Millwall that have been around and hovering around that playoff place for years. Who else is up there? Norwich should be up there, but I don't think they'll stay up there. And Coventry, and who else is like spending big in this league at the minute? Stoke City is spending huge in this league as well. So, should we go into quick expectations of the game ahead tomorrow? What do you think is going to happen against Coventry versus Sunderland? I'm going to switch it back so everybody gets their fair screen time. Cabby, do you want to go first?
I just think we'll get. I don't know. I think we'll get taught a footballing lesson. I think Coventry and Leicester. I'm pipping for the top two.
Okay.
There's just something about Coventry. They were unlucky not to get promoted last season, I thought. And I just think there's just something about them. And at the moment, I just don't think we've got quite enough to be able to deal with their threat. And I think they'll get a couple of goals pretty early on as well.
Yeah. So what's the scoreline then? Roughly.
I think that I put my prediction 2-0. But I'm going to go for 4-0 Coventry. Hope I'm wrong. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. My heart wants Sunderland to win every single game.
Jesus. I'm gonna adjust it to 4-0 now then, mate, if you're all right with that. Jesus. Okay, 4-0.
I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, I'm just going like sitting on the fence sort of thing here. Do you know what I mean? And
mate, I think you fell over it to lean that far to the side for a 4-0 defeat.
Far-fetched, that.
No, I don't think it's that far-fetched. I just think it's an absolute crumble for Sunderland if we lose by 4-0.
Would it be a disaster if we did?
You said 4-1, actually. You said 4-1.
Did I say 4? Well, I'll stay with 4-1. If I said 4-1, I'll stay with 4-1.
Okay, there you go. I'll not change it. Jen's End, welcome along. Nice to see some new names and faces pop into the chat as well. Jacob, you've popped up there. So what are you saying for the game coming up tomorrow? What's the scoreline going to be, and what's the big call-outs or things to look out for?
I think tomorrow is going to be a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be a tight game. And I think there's Ellie Sim. I think it won't surprise me if Ellie Sim scores against us, because that's always a problem with Sunderland, former players scoring against us. So
Yep.
I won't be too surprised if it's Ellie Sims who gets the goal. But there's other players to watch out for in the Coventry team. But you know, hopefully we can get a point. Will be nice. So
with that unlucky Ellis bloody short at score against us.
Every Ellis.
I think there's a player that's out for Coventry because of family stuff, and he's still going to be out for the Sunderland game. I can't remember his name, but saw an article about it, and Mark Robbins was saying, "Oh, it's disappointing." So
yeah,
would you be happy with a 1-1, Jacob?
Yeah, because we're getting a point against quite a strong side who spent quite well. They've not, of course, gone overboard like we would have done in the Premier League when we had Ellis Short, but they've done it nicely and brought in some fresh faces. And yeah, I think I'd take a point against Coventry.
To be fair, I mean, I would take a point as well. I think a point against a strong Coventry side is, it will be quite nice. We haven't really played them all that much over recent past because of obviously the trajectory of the two clubs. But I think the last time we actually beat them was in the Championship back in 2007.
I know last time we beat them away was 1985, and the last time we beat them at home was 2007.
Yes, yeah. So that was in the Championship equivalent League One division, League Division 1 back then. That's what it was called. So it was the Championship level then. And yeah, the last times we've beat them, last time at Stadium Light drew. The time before that we drew. The time before that we lost 4-5 in League One. So we're not completely dominated by this team. The last time like Coventry slapped us silly was in the League Cup in 1990. So that was a 5-0 defeat. But otherwise, I think we go toe-to-toe against them.
Before of them. Do you remember when we got lost to them 5-4 at the Stadium of Light in the 18-19 season?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the record there, 4-5 at the Stadium of Light. That to me is us going toe-to-toe, and I think we will be in a very similar ilk with them this time around. So I'll say my prediction. I think Sunderland are just going to pip it 2-3 away from home, because I do see a lot of goals popping up left, right and centre, but I think defensively both these teams have gaps and issues that need sorting out. And yeah, there's plenty of goals, I think, in this game coming up. If it does become one of those cagey 1-0 games, the 1-1 draws, again, I would still take it, because not getting embarrassed by Coventry, I think, is our ultimate aim in this one, and getting points would be a nice little bonus on top. Hello, Brad. Welcome along. You off mute?
Evening, Alf. You all right?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm just. We've just been talking about Rotherham, and we're now going through our predictions for Coventry. So I'll go to Paul next, and then come to you after that, because we've spoken to everyone. Dov's here to keep an eye on the other games and let us know if there's any good goals happening in there. So yeah, Paul, what are you thinking about the Cov Sunderland game, and what do we need to look out for?
Sadly, I'm going to say 2-1 defeat.
Okay.
I think for us, unfortunately, I think it's our defensive side.
Okay.
It's just
Like-
pessimistic, that, like.
It's Mr. 4-1 there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. See, there's a lot of people humming around, like, defensively, Sunderland have a lot to be desired, shall we say. We've conceded in every single game we've played so far, but to the same degree, we've scored in every game that we've played so far, and we do have striker issues as well. So, as Acacia's mentioned a little bit in the chat, hi Acacia, we'll talk about the signings and stuff like that after we've had Brad's thoughts on the Coventry game as well. So, what do you think the scoreline will be, and what do we need to look out for, Brad?
Well, I think the score predictions tomorrow is going to be Coventry 2, Sunderland 2. I'm going to see a draw out of this one. I think it's going to be a 2 each draw. And what we need to watch out for is Matty Godden, because he is a massive, massive threat to obviously goal line, obviously to strike force. Matty Godden's a really, really good player. Don't know if you've seen him last season or the season before. He scored against us in League One, I think. If you, I think
Yeah, I remember him. I don't want to, but I can. What about Ellis Sims? Are we all just because there's? I think Cabby mentioned ex-player curse with Ellis Sims and Ellis Short potentially scoring for them as well. But do you think Ellis Sims will have a good game, or do you think he'll just be muted out because we know what he's like?
To be honest, I think he'll be muted out. To be honest, not
I
gonna
think
lie to you. Just
I
gonna
think
mute
he
it out.
get his first goal for Coventry.
He's already
Paul?
scored. He's already scored, mate.
Yeah, he scored against was it Swansea last? No, not Swansea. It was
Is it Borough?
He scored against Borough, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it wasn't that 3-0 win against Middlesbrough. Yeah.
I mean, you can give him his first goal, but like that was a couple of weeks ago. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, but the Coventry fans have been getting on his back a lot, so I actually think he'll shut them up this weekend.
There is a little bit of that, but with Ellis Sims, he is a classic. He'll score 1 in 3 or 1 in 4. So every third or fourth game, he'll score a goal. He did that for us, and I don't see why he wouldn't do it for Coventry as well. So hopefully, let's make it the 1 in 4 so that he can score in the game after us, right? It's always nice to see other ex-Sunderland players still have a successful, thriving career after they left us, but not when they're playing against us, right? Cool. Right, I'm going to catch up on the chat, so I'll pass it to Cabby. What do you think of Ellis Sims in this Coventry game?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, it's nailed on certain. And he's going to score against us. It's just going to happen. I think every Sunderland fan on the planet and all 4 corners of the globe will agree with that one as well. Whether our defence is not up to it, well, so far we've been leaking in goals, but I can't see any other player apart from Simsy Boy getting a goal against us.
Yeah. Okay. So Acacia agrees to that degree as well. She thinks Ellis Sims and Matty Godden will score against us, but we've all mentioned that Sunderland should score. Even you, Cabby. Who's getting the goals for Sunderland?
I'm gonna go with Billingham again.
Billingham.
Yeah.
Is he new? Signing him tomorrow.
I'm gonna go for him. Yeah,
Joe
I think.
Joe Bellingham. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think his confidence is gone up. So I think why not?
It was interesting. So Acacia mentions in the chat about injuries with Ross Stewart and Elliot Embleton. I don't know if you've saw, but today Sunderland posted a 5-minute video of just their training session. There's no real commentary over it. It's just like the players.
Yeah, they often do that.
Yeah, the players are just training at the academy, and in that, they do like a sprint burst stuff. You can still see. Oh. You can still see like some players are like that are on the injury list, but they were at the training ground. So it's good to see that they're on the recovery belt. But the one I want to call out that looked like they were near enough match fit, I don't know if they were 100%, but they looked like about 90, was Elliot Embleton. He looked like he was keeping pace with Pritchard and I think it was Danny Bath in that sprint, like little bit of sprint. So it's literally like a 3-second clip in a 5-minute video, but it's good to see that some of those players are back at the academy. They're back in the fold, and they're being assessed by Mobrway to see if they're ready to come back in the fold.
Was it the Hull City game he got injured, Embo?
Yeah,
and
he broke his
got
leg.
sent off while he was getting stretchered off as well.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
and I just want to say hi, Clary, as well in the chat as well. He will always score. They always do. So ex-players,
Embo's actually travelling to Coventry. Tony Mobrway confirmed.
Yeah,
But,
he's actually travelling.
Yeah, but Mobrway said he'd be on the bench, but he won't feature.
The fact that he's on the bench is huge, mate. Like that is one of the players that we've been crying out that we need that gap filled out. So
Have we missed him?
Yeah.
Embo, would you say we've really, really missed him?
I think we missed him in the Ipswich game. I don't think it would have made a difference in our bloody hell. Who did we play second? Preston North End. I don't think it would have made a difference in the Preston North End game because that was just pure luck, and obviously not in the last Rotherham game because we won. So it's a bit interesting. Oh, Brad's dropped. I hope he comes back in a sec. Clary saying.
Speaking of Mobrway, Tony Mobrway used to manage Coventry.
Yeah,
he had a
mentioned that.
He'd been manager there.
When was the last time Sunderland won at Coventry City? I'm not expecting an answer straight away, but if anybody's...
1985, DJ. Mackem Cabby, that's when we last won against Coventry away.
I literally
1985.
I literally just had the stats up. If you look at my search history, it's score table, Sunderland Cov stats, and then fat Newcastle fan tattoo.
Oh.
It seems to be a funny thing, but yeah, there's gaps that we have, right? How influential do you think those gaps are going to be tomorrow? And we've obviously got gaps at the back. Bath's potentially fit and playing with us again if he's not going to Blackburn. Seal looks like he's on the recovery as well. Triantis is looking like he's about to break through to the main squad. He's still playing with the under-23s, under-21s, but
is travelling tomorrow as well.
So we're if that's true, mate, we're looking like we've got a lot of patchwork happening at the back, which could potentially fix a lot of our defensive issues. I don't think they've had enough time to cement themselves in a solid, rigid back four. I think 09's probably going to start in the centre back position, even though we've got, by the sounds of it, Sealed, Bath, Ballard, and Triantis maybe all pushing for that centre back position. So
can I just say about Luke 09? What's everybody going on about this song about saving a Labrador? What's all that about?
He said a Labrador on Roker Beach.
Labrador playing Roker Beach yesterday.
Is that? I've not seen that news. Is that actually what happened? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah, that came from the club as well.
what?
And he's going to extend his contract as well, Luke 09.
I know he's
Apparently
extended
gonna
his contract, but that's a part of the news. He saved the drowning dog or something, has he?
Yeah. He's just a gem. He's Luke 09. He just seems like a proper nice guy. He's, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the first I'm hearing of it, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of Google job after this to see what exactly happened. But that sounds class.
Good job he didn't
He's
save
just
his
a class
shit
guy,
09.
Well, Perfume Snobs, welcome along. He says, who's playing left wing tomorrow? Because Patrick Roberts is injured now, right? He's added on to the injury list. If those centre backs come into it, why not try? Right, I'm just gonna. If Patrick Roberts is injured, why not try Luke O'Nien there? Because he'll play anywhere for us, right?
I think Pritchard will probably score in that role. I think.
Yeah, Pritchard will.
Who's going to play up front for us? Is it going to be Bellingham again?
Probably Joe, but it might be Semedo.
Semedo, I'm going to say.
Semedo played on Wednesday evening though for the under-23s against Notts County. Is it Notts County?
Or
Yeah.
will he throw Dak up front?
Oh,
Chuck him up front.
I'm sorry, putting Dak up front is just terrible. I know he's.
And Chelsea's gone 2-0 up. Raheem Sterling again. Sorry for interrupting.
Mr. Dov, what are you doing?
It's not updated.
Yeah, Darth, you're supposed to be keeping an update.
You're ahead of me, apparently.
You
Is it-
pleb.
It's still 1-0 on my screen.
It's still
Are you
1-0
on the
on my
Fire
screen.
Stick there, Darth, are you?
Watch your screen,
I'm watching
Darth.
it on LTV.
Yeah, watch your screen, Jacob said.
Is it from the corner? From the corner.
Oh, it was a lovely little cross. Yeah, it was nice. Good goal.
Okay.
Luton Town are getting relegated.
That's a shame because Luton have been all over them for the last 15-20 minutes.
Right. That brings me on to a good question. If Sunderland got promoted last season, do you think we would have basically shared the same fate as whatever Luton do this year? Because I don't think Luton are Premier League ready. I don't think we are at the minute either, or we were at the summer, especially if we're still struggling to find strikers.
In the moment, I don't think we're championship ready at the minute. The way things are going on, it's.
I disagree with that, mate. I think we are. I think we're trying to consolidate our books and play and pay smart. We're trying to do what Brentford did, but we're rushing at it.
You think that's what we could be, the next Brentford? Probably be in the Championship for a while, and then surprise people.
Well, I don't think we'll be in the Championship for years and years and years. I think we've got a clear game plan to get promoted. Yeah. But I think last season would have been too early.
Like, roughly how long do you think we'll be in the Championship for? Do you think maybe 4 seasons? Or...
I think 3-4 seasons would be a comfortable amount of time to have an expectation of constant improvement. I don't think we are the Leicesters, the Leeds, the Southamptons. We're not expected to be in the top two. Speakman said, was it Speakman or KLD who said we're aiming for top two? But then
Speakman. That was Christian Speakman.
Yeah, but then look at the signings that we've done so far.
Yeah, what an absolute knob cheese.
So yeah, there's a lot to be said about our recruitment. Does anybody want to bring that up? We're obviously not going to bring anybody from last game into the Coventry game. There's nobody new. There's no transfers being confirmed by the club. But
there's a Leeds player that's left Leeds last season, and Sunderland thinking of buying him or have put a bid in for him.
It's not Gelhardt, is it?
No, it's not.
Unfortunately not.
I just think it's frustrating that the terrifying silence from the board.
Adam Forshaw's the player.
He's a free agent.
City won. Yeah. Bristol City won full time.
Plus, I can close that tab now. There we are. So, are we okay? Like, because I've put in the chat, I've put in the poll for this stream about our transfers. So, if the transfer window was closed, how are you feeling? The vast majority of people are still a bit concerned. There's a good chunk of people who are bricking it, but some people, I'd say about 18%, are saying they're just okay with it, and a very small minority is saying we are absolutely fine with what we've got. With our current squad, with our current issues, all of that, are we picking up? Are we going to be improved on our squad from last season, or are we going to struggle? That's my question.
Well, the problem is, obviously Ross Stewart's not far away from a return. Apparently, he's I think he's about 3-4 weeks away from his return, because apparently in the international break, he's going to do an open, is it an closed behind doors, closed friendly or something like that?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, so he's going to be played behind closed doors friendly, and well, obviously everyone's on international break with so it'll be likes of Patrick Roberts and stuff and like that. The likes of obviously Rick Bennett, all them trying to like get the fitness back up to levels, get the fitness levels
Okay.
back up.
So that's a lot of hope. What if they're not ready at that point? That's the international break's still 4 games away. So are we still happy in saying we can wash these 4 games down the window come the end of the season? It didn't matter. I don't think that's appropriate.
No,
we need as many points as possible wherever we can grab them. So yes, it would be fantastic if we have Ross Stewart back fit and well after that closed door friendly, but it's not guaranteed. He could pick up another injury in that. Achilles injuries are a nightmare to recover from because it's like getting a paper cut on your nub of your knuckle. You're constantly moving it. It's always going to get aggravated. So it takes forever to fix and heal. The other players,
and hopefully signs a new contract. Hopefully.
I don't think he will, mate. To be honest, I think he'll be gone in the January window. But again, that's
good sign.
That's all I'm speaking.
Good sign as well. Obviously Sunderland are signing a striker. It's that Russian, that Ukrainian striker.
Rushik, yeah.
I can't pronounce that player. Really
Yeah,
Rushik.
he looks like a replacement for Roberts. Bless you. He looks like a replacement for Roberts, which is ideal in the current situation. But isn't that exactly what Jewison Bennett should be as well?
He's injured at the moment.
He's injured as well.
Yeah, but he's never been first team starter week in, week out for us, has he? He hasn't fully broke into the squad. He's been tested out in a couple of games, but I don't know if Mobrway.
Well, it is on
prefers him.
Mobrway was looking at sending Bennett out on loan the rest of the season.
Which I think, to be fair, I think that would be a bit of a shame considering how we're struggling up front for options, and he's not a number 10, he's not a dedicated striker, but he is a forward and he scores goals for his international team. So it's not like he doesn't know where the back of the net is. I just don't think so.
3-0 Chelsea. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on, Anth.
No worries. Mr. Dorf.
It's still 2-0 on my screen.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Watch your screen down.
Whilst we have Mr. Cabby helping us with the scorelines as well, do you want to chip in on what you've seen and what you've said, what you've picked up on so far from a Sunderland recruitment perspective? Because I know you've been around it. I know it's not Liverpool. You're not 100% on it, but from an outsider's perspective, what are you seeing or hearing?
Having from watching games, I think your best signing so far is Mr. Bellingham, or it's Joe, but as I think he likes to be referred to as.
Yep. Trying to knock off his brother's image, isn't he?
Yeah, I can't blame him. I think you do need to try and sign one or maybe 2 strikers. I think that's where you're kind of struggling. I mean, you're also struggling defensively, but that's an entire different issue. I think when you do get it in a box, you can't finish it, which is an issue because if you can't finish it, you can't score and then you can't win. So I think getting strikers in during this window would benefit you massively. Hopefully try and get you some more goals and more points under your belt.
I agree with that. The thing is, though, none of us have mentioned it, and we're all slightly guilty of it. We have actually signed 2 dedicated named strikers on paper in Hamir Semedo and Mayenda. Mayenda is a dedicated centre forward. He is a striker, but he's instantly went on the injury list in his first training session. So
Mayenda's out for up to 2 to 3 weeks. He'd be back.
So he could be back before Ross Stewart. So Brad's got the face that I think is perfect for this. It's just the same conversation week in, week out. We all know what the gap is, right? There's two strikers we technically have already done, and because they haven't like instantly had an impact when they've come in, Mia, I think, has a lot more potential than Mienda has, because I think he's fit and he's scoring goals at the under 23 level, but he hasn't broken into Mowbray's like first choice. I need him to play every single game. I think if given the option, Ross Stewart would still be preferred over Hamia. I would like to see 2 strikers up front as well, but we're kind of dictated to stick to 1 up front. Is Barkley playing for Luton?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ross Barkley's playing for Luton, yeah.
When did that happen?
When did they get him?
When did they get Chong's playing for? Like, what the hell has happened to Luton? They've got really big names. Mpanzu, Ogbene, Anderson, Chong, Burke, Barkley.
Just send the referee, give a yellow card out, and be like, quieten down off guard.
Oh, that's funny.
You
Yeah.
talk about referee. I don't like who we've got tomorrow.
Oh.
Paul.
Go on. No, I don't know who it is, so go for it. Who have we got tomorrow?
You want Keith Stroud?
Oh, that lovely man. Okay.
Lovely man.
Yeah.
He's the one who sent Luke O'Nine off, didn't he? Against Swansea.
Against Swansea, yeah.
I mean, it was a red card. Come on, mate.
He was the one that gave Mowbray a yellow card.
As well.
Against Ipswich.
Stoke.
Oh.
So, hot takes. There's on SB Nation from Roker Report. Hot take: Keith Stroud's incompetence cast a shadow over Sunderland's efforts.
Well, it might end tomorrow because the referee in the Rotherham game didn't have a good record with Sunderland, and that ended, didn't it?
I suppose. Is it going to be that important?
No, not really. Don't matter who the ref is. They're all wankers, really. Some of the refs. They're all they just want to make a name for themselves, don't they? Be attention seeking. Like, just shut up and...
Just want to interrupt there and just say for the YouTube moderators that the fact that word that Jacob's just said there actually means a lovely person in Mackem language. So.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, and every time we say the truck with an F, right?
Yeah.
It just mean the big vehicle.
It's a very big vehicle. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Anyways, yeah, I'm a bit concerned, like the vast majority of people, with our recruitment. We have made those 2 signings for strikers, so I think Speakman has done a job. Would you collectively disagree or agree with that? We've made 6 signings, 2 of them are strikers, but yet we're still yelling out for more.
He needs to do better, though, Speakman.
I totally agree with you, Yorkshire Mackem. Totally agree. He needs to do better. Obviously, he's brought 6 players in, but obviously we need experience in that squad as well. We need experienced players. Like, we need someone like as a holding midfielder who actually knows what to do. Like, you know,
Bradley Dack.
Oh yeah, Bradley Dack for certain, but obviously the defensive midfield as well. Apparently, we're signing someone from Leeds and Middlesbrough. Apparently, a Leeds and Middlesbrough man. I can't remember his name. But we're in the championships clubs amongst everyone else. So I think Rotherham, Bristol City, Stoke, and us are interested in a Leeds and Middlesbrough target player. I don't know who it is. I can't remember who it is. So I'll have a look.
Well, I think Akpom's gone, isn't he? So it's not him.
Yeah,
I wish it was.
It's not him.
Remember Astra? Yes, I do. Welcome along, McAllister. Astra was a person who popped into pretty much every stream towards the end of last season. So if that's if you're that in the same, welcome back.
They're signing someone called Adam Forshaw, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't he
He's the Leeds player, yeah.
Isn't he like early 20s?
31.
31?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of somebody completely different then.
Yeah, he was part of the Leeds team that got promoted to the Prem in the 2019-2020 season, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think he'd be a good signing.
He's a Premier League player then?
Well, he was, but he left Leeds after they got relegated this last season. So...
He'll be a good player.
Not anymore. Not a Prem player anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a Prem player.
So... Back on the I want to hop onto it because I just want to get a definitive answer really from somebody, because we're not getting it from the club. Are we getting more strikers in, or do you think the club is putting the faith on Hamia and Mayenda once fully fit and up and running, doing the service? Can we afford them to build up to the level that we want? Cabby, jump in there, mate. Can we afford time for Mayenda and Hamia?
It depends what our goals are. I mean, if we're wanting top 2, then no. If we're wanting to consolidate ourselves in this league or push for playoffs, then I would say at the moment, yeah, we do have time. I just think that's Speakman and KLD's way of working, is they just don't address the fans and they just do things behind closed doors. And you wake up in the morning, before you know it, you got somebody holding a Sunderland scarf up. I just think that's the way they work. We were that used to Stuart Donald and Salmon Pants, complete opposite. I just think that's the way they're running the show at the minute. I mean, yes, it is nice to have a bit of communication, but maybe he's doing the right thing by not shouting and not saying this and not saying that, and maybe he's just trying to get the best deal done over the line.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
I'm just looking at the signings from transfer market for Sunderland, and we've actually brought in 7. Jensen Sealed, Bellingham, which is amazing. Eliza Mayenda, Nectarius Triantis, Bradley Dack, Lewis Hamia, and Nathan Bishop, which is a good competition for Patterson. So we've actually brought in 7 players, and 2 are centre backs, 2 are attacking midfields, 2 are centre forwards, and 1's a goalkeeper. Where we haven't brought anybody in is down either wing, left wing, right wing, or second strikers. So there is still work to be done, but on paper, literally on paper, we've got 2 centre forwards in the door, and we're still crying out for more. That lag time, I think, is...
So it'll be interesting what we do for the rest of the window, because, I think Mobrway, like last week, Mobrway actually wanted a loan player in. And of course, we all know that was Jay Stansfield, because it's that was actually close to be completed last week. It was all done and dusted, but Mobrway said it was all on Fulham's end, the problem. But the reason why he moved to Birmingham is apparently because it's close to home for him.
It's money, mate.
That's why he chose.
It's not close to home. Birmingham is not close to London. I don't know who thinks that in the end of the world, but it's definitely a lot closer than Sunderland. If he wants to travel to London for the evening, he can buy a train ticket for like 200 quid and get there in less than an hour. So yeah, like it is closer, but you could do the same in Sunderland. You could buy a plane from Newcastle and get to London in 40 minutes. So like, I get that as a reasonable excuse. You're closer to home, but not really. It's kind of a soft excuse to say I pick this team because I wanted more money. Like it's a good excuse, but just be upfront about it.
Well, I think Birmingham attracts a lot of players, doesn't it? Like the West Midlands. Like I think when you said about Darren Bent, I remember you saying, "Oh, a lot of the clothes he wears are quite fancy, and you can get a lot of that in Birmingham," and that's why he went to Villa, set money, really, in a way.
Well, it's the second city. There's a lot more variety and connectivity with the second city, so I get that from some people's perspective, but yeah, you've also got to think in the transfer market this summer. Birmingham sold quite a lot of their current squad, and they've got a little bit of capital to spend on big players like that, whereas we are doing the budget route. We're recruiting young. We've got this weird model in place that is a little bit frustrating. It is like give people the time to develop into their full natural professional ability. Some are doing a lot sooner than others, but the idea is get them in here, train them up, and then hopefully by the time they're like the 100% reaching their potential, they're in their prime, we're either going to be promoted or they'll be sold on to a Premier League team. That's, I think, our current model. And it's worked for Brentford. Will it work for us?
It'll be interesting though, with this money that we got for Lahaji, Speakman said that would be used on another transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that money getting used for this Ukraine striker that supposed to be agreed?
Potentially, mate. Like, there's a pot of money. Think of it this way, right? If you're out and you're looking for a new car, Cabby can relate, you got to buy a new car. You could either repair what you've currently got, give it a little bit of time, put a bit of patchwork on it, let it come back to full working condition a couple of weeks down the line, which is what we're doing with our injury list. Or we can buy a brand new one that fixes it, and we've got essentially 2 cars in the garage at that point going forward. You don't need to spend that money long term if the other one's going to be okay. It's the uncertainty of that one coming fit and being as good as you need it to be. That's what we are in this limbo for, and that's what we need players like Semedo, players like Mayenda to just, once they get fit, to prove that they are the quality that Sunderland fans expect. If I'm being harsh there, let me know, but it's frustrating because we know what we want from a fan base, we know what we need to recruit, and we know how well Sunderland can perform in this league already. Like, put it this way, who have we lost in the transfer window that you think, gee, how we're gonna survive without them? We didn't. It's everybody's gonna say Amir, right? Ahmad.
Yeah, Diallo.
No, Amir, sorry. Ahmad Diallo, sorry. Nobody else is going to pop up in that conversation. We've lost a lone player. I think to the same ilk, we're not going to really be that concerned about Gelhardt. We're not going to be that concerned about Ellis Sims. All of the players that we've lost in that window were losable, apart from that absolute gem of a player, and that's what we're trying to replace. You can't replace a gem with a gem easily. It's going to cost you money.
Do you think he could come back in January, Amad Diallo? Because of course he's injured and no one's going to buy him, but
we could
get him back.
If he's a loanee player, you can get him back any time. We could get him back tomorrow if we wanted him on loan, but we'd have to pay his wages while he's recovering. Why would we do that when Man United are currently sorting him out? Like, beyond
it's interesting because Lahaji was brought in as a replacement for Diallo, and now Lahaji's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do?
Isaac Lahaji, though, mate, he played like 6 games for us.
Yeah, he did.
He had potential. We bought him for a certain amount. This other club around the world said, here's a load of money. Can we have him, please? And we went, yeah, sure. It's a time investment thing. If he wanted to move on and he didn't want to be with us and we earned a profit from it, off you go. Like Lahaji's a prime example of what we are, what this model is capable of producing. If he's only played 6 games for us and he's increased his market value in those 6 games, like, we've done our job with him. Could we have gotten more if we held on to him for another 12 months? Probably not, because his head's already in that other club for the bigger value. So, yeah, if a club comes along and says we'll pay a lot more for him, if it's the likes of QPR or whatever, or the Saudi league teams, then you've just got to let him go, right? You can't. I don't think any fan, unless you are, I don't think any fan's that upset like Lahaji left. Are any of you upset that he left, or what's your thoughts on that?
No, because we can use that money that we for him to get someone else in. So I'm not concerned. It's gone. Don't bother me, really.
Yeah. So McAllister's popped in the chat 2 things. He says, I don't think we need a new number 9. I think, to be honest, I quite agree with that. We've got plenty of options in the central attacking midfield that are being hodgepodged into there. You've got Pritchard, you've got Dak, you've got Bellingham, you've got, to a lesser degree, Dan Neil, you've got Ekwa, you've got Elise when he's back. You've got loads of central midfielder options that could fit that number 9 role. So I agree, we don't need a new number 9. What we need is another out-and-out striker that stays on the penalty spot. And he also brings up that Semedo had a great pre-season, and I think he will do a lot better once Stuart What's Stuart's position certain? That's it, I think. In terms of formation, are you happy with how we're currently setting ourselves up? It seems to be a 4-2-3-1 style. So 4 at the back, left and right wingers assist the normal wingers. You've got 2 holding CDMs, and then you've got 3 attacking players, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Clark and Roberts normally with. Well, last week it was Dak and Bellingham, but before it was Bellingham and Pritchard and Semedo. So there's loads of people who can fit in those top 2 positions, but you've got to remember they can't. Can we deviate from that all that much with our current fitness? Don't all chip in at once.
I can't see more of a change in formation, to be honest.
Do you think
No,
that's
he's gonna
that?
stick with it.
Sorry.
No, he's going to stick with it. I think that was his main starting 11, won it last season, 4-2-3-1 predominantly. So he's going to keep sticking with it, isn't he? So
is that the new Sunderland style for the foreseeable with him in charge then?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Cabby?
Pretty much agree with what Paul's just said.
Yeah. In case you said, all right, Paul, forgot to say hi.
All right, in case, yeah.
I like our formation because it brings that level of consistency. It's just, do we have the players that fit in those gaps very well? Now that Clark's injured, we don't have a direct replacement for him. We have a couple of players who could do that job. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have a direct replacement for him. I think Jewison Bennett could be a good replacement for him, but that's not his natural position. He'd much rather be on the other wing. Yeah, it's just a weird system for the players that we've got. Like, apart from like Bath, Ballard, Steelt, and Triantis, and obviously the goalkeepers, nobody's really playing their natural position. Even the likes of Pritchard and Dak are not playing that supporting cam role. They're playing like a false 9. So it's square pegs, circle holes, or whatever you call it. Circle holes, square pegs. I don't know. Are you happy so far, though? Should we start to wrap it up and just go?
It's just silly little mistakes we've been doing as well, which has cost us games.
Are you overall concerned that we are in a pit that we can't get out of, or do you think it's just a case of keep cracking on and we'll find success throughout the season?
Just got to be a bit patient, I think. It's early days in the season, and transfer window's not finished yet, and we all know a lot of things happen on the last day, so I think there's time.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with actually, because Phil Smith from the Echo reckons that it could be a busy deadline day for Sunderland.
Yeah.
Is it going to be throwing money at the wall, though?
Sunderland, really, isn't it?
Typical, yeah, Jacob, typical. Is it throwing money at the wall, though?
Could
Just
be a bit like what could be a bit like Stuart Donald on the final day.
Oh yeah, hopefully a bit better than Will Gregg.
Will Gregg's. Absolute pasty.
Oh God.
The problem we have, though, mate, is like Sunderland fans traditionally don't have that patience. We expect the people to come in to instantly have an impact. Of these signings so far, I think Bellingham's having the best one, then Dak, then Hamir, and then Bishop, which is quite strange. But the other two, Sealed, Triantis, and help me out here, Meander. Jesus Christ, that's how impactful he's been. They've not really come in and fit in straight away, which is what we kind of want from a quality season. We want to kick the ball off going strong. Welcome along, SFC Uploads and Alfredo. Are we still linked with Jurisen Rakskaji? Do you know?
He's the guy from
That is.
Crystal Palace.
I've not heard him linked with us, but Sunderland are assessing the Premier League loan market before the end of the transfer window and have been credited with interest in the Crystal Palace winger. So I think maybe if it is this is literally the first time I've seen Alfredo. So if it is a loan move, then probably it's not because he's going to be replacing Clark and Roberts, who I think we have already got replacements for in the background. Love the stream, mate. Thanks for the salute. Yeah, I think rumours wise, this time next week, let me just double check with the diary. Yeah, this time next week, when we've done it, our transfer window will be done and dusted. Will we be still saying we've brought in the right players? Are we happy with it? And we've picked up 3 fantastic points against Coventry. What a terrible team they were. Yeah. I just heard about it last week. No, that's all right. I think there's a lot of time between now and the window closes. If we are going to be absolutely desperate and signing 2 free players on the last day, I'd say that's more of a negative sign than a positive. Yeah, we're bringing in people to fill in gaps, but it shows that we're not showing the confidence in the players that we already have. And I think a lot of our players are good enough to be at this level. Maybe not like automatic promotion level, but definitely competing for the playoffs again. Agreed.
If we're going to play in like on the last day, yeah, they might not even be for first team. You know, they could be like for the academy.
Just giving them game time in a Sunderland shirt.
Yeah, like a couple of trialists or something.
I wouldn't mind trialists. I wouldn't mind youth players coming through the ranks. That's, like I said, the Brentford model, probably is the old Brighton model, that kind of thing. Maybe even Southampton. Southampton, when they were getting promoted in the early 2010s, that was their model to go up.
I think we had a trialist in the academy from Chelsea, actually.
Yeah, I don't think that's materialised, or there's no news about it. So I think we've got to do a couple of things between now and the next Mackem football show, right? We've got to, one, enjoy the game tomorrow against Coventry, come rain or shine, see if we win, lose or draw. I think as long as we don't embarrass ourselves tomorrow, that will be a positive result. A 1-0 loss is not a good result, but obviously it's a half-decent performance. Anything beyond that, brilliant work, I guess. Coventry are seen as a better team than us right now. We'll leapfrog them eventually, but not today. And the transfer window needs to be closed, and all of those players that are injured need to come back and be fit for that window to be a little bit more certain with how we're going to play for the rest of the season. So, correct me if I'm wrong there, lads. I'll take some.
Yeah, I think Mobrway said the only player that will be back straight after the international break is Roberts.
When's the international break? It's the 20-something of, isn't it?
The Southampton game, I think.
Which game is that? Sorry, which week is that?
We've got Southampton next Saturday.
International. I'm just good. International fixtures. What is England? The 12th. Tuesday the 12th.
Already being called up for international duty.
The 12th. The 9th to the 12th. No. The 6th to the 13th of September. So it is the start. It's literally a week or two away. That's all right, I guess.
Juventus is being called up.
Australia or Greece? Yeah. Fair enough. Morning. Mike, what are you doing up this time? Jeebus. We are slowly about to wrap it up. We've got the live stream tomorrow for the football game coming up. I'm kind of excited for the game itself. There's a lot to be said about how well we're going to perform. We've got to trust in Mobrway, bringing in the right players to develop. It is a game we can lose, so we can experiment with our squad. Agree or disagree, boys?
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
Perfect. I I can't see us putting in an embarrassing performance. I think we'll do okay defensively. We need to fix that up. But between now this Mackem football show and the next Mackem football show, I think we've just got to trust in our squad. So I'll wrap it up there. Does anybody want to make any call outs for their content whilst we're on? Cabby, you're first on my screen, so do you want to go first? What you're doing on your channel?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of short videos of all the classic goals from the past and stuff, and hopefully a nice, funny, optimistic alternative commentary video after the Coventry game.
Perfect. Where we smash them 7-0. Paul, Brad for RWA.
While Brad is on mute, I do believe Brad is doing a watch along tomorrow for somebody from the channel. If not, we've got a guest actually on from Sky Blues TV on Monday at 7 o'clock.
Oh, so he'll get to either
Review the game.
Yeah, he'll either get to bully you or you can bully him. No problem. No problem. And Yorkshire, what are you up to, mate?
I'll be on the stream tomorrow with you and Cabby. Hopefully, after the final whistle, it'll be 3 points, but
Buzzing.
I'd take a draw. I'd take a point against Coventry because of the way they've been playing lately, really. They're a strong physical team, so, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to the live stream tomorrow. Mike's just said something that really freaks me out a little bit. He just says, it's 7 a.m. now, right? But he'll see us tonight. I guess he's obviously on Saturday. So that's... Have a midday nap, Mike. Have a midday nap. Odds on Sims scoring 5 goals. I can literally... No, it's not going to happen. I think Sims will probably have 5 shots, but not 5 goals. Have a good night. Got some new video. Oh, thank you very much. I'll check them out. Yeah, so I'll catch you on the watch along tomorrow, boys and girls, and anybody in between. Catch you in a bit.
Yeah.
Bye. Well, lads.
FTM.
Alright, lads.
Well, lads.
Well, lads.
Well, lads.
Well, lads.